Mimi
Senator Mazayo, what is your issue?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Stuart Mazayo.
Honorable
Mazayo.
CS,
And
the Senator for Kilifi is Stewart Mazayo, not otherwise.
And the lady I've spoken about, she's called Maureen Nyazua Ya.
Thank you, Senator Mazayo. I think I said Senator Mazayo. And then I said the lady is called Maureen Najua. That's why I made a mistake here, Jua. But I think Mazayo, I know you for many years. Everybody knows you. So sorry if I misspelled your name, but I think I pronounced your name properly, if I try to recall. So I think they mixed up because I said both names following each other. About Maureen Najua, ambao ulisema ameugua katika nchi nyingine. Mheshimiwa Speaker, ile maktaba, the agreement that we have, na mtu yote anapoenda ng'ambo, hizi nchi zinampa full medical care. Kama Saudi, uko na full medical care. Ukiugua, tumeona Wakenya wameugua sana huko, wamepelekwa hata the Royal Hospital, wanatibiwa ICU mpaka wanapona. It's fully covered. Na unatibiwa, unapona. Na katika pia kandarasi wanajaza, iko na return ticket. Sio lazima arudishwe na yule ambaye alimpeleka. Kuna return ticket as part of the agreement. Ya maana ukimaliza kazi ikiisha, au kukosa kazi, maybe umeugua, una return ticket imepeanwa na yule amekuajiri uweze kurejea nyumbani. Lakini ikiwa bado unamfanyia huyo kazi, sijui vile Maureen hali yake nitachunguza, lakini kwa ujumla simtaji, anasema kwa ujumla unakuta ya kwamba umepewa kazi na mtu fulani umfanyie kazi, wewe unatoroka hiyo kazi, unaenda kufanya mambo mengine.
Honorable CS, just go straight to Senator Mazayo's question, and if you're not aware of the circumstances of Maureen Nyazua, you may plead to bring up more comprehensive response, because that is the general principles under which a minister operates. But in regards to Maureen, if you're not aware of the details, you may seek time so that you give us more detailed and comprehensive response regarding this particular girl that Honorable Senator has talked about.
Well guided, Mr. Speaker. I will find out about the case of Maureen Najua and about Mr. Mohammed, and just to clarify that if she was still working for the same employer, then she should be getting medical care, and we'll investigate why that is not so, and I'll be able to give a comprehensive answer to this House. I submit, Mr. Speaker.
Now we have a second question directed to the same ministry by the Honorable Senator James Murango. Yes.
I'm standing in for him.
Proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm standing in for Senator James Murango of Kirinyaga County, and these are the questions that he has for the CS Labor and Social Protection. One, what has led to the increase in the number of street children in major towns across Kirinyaga County, including Gurufani, Kutus, Kagio, Sagana, and Kiruguya? B, could the Cabinet Secretary provide details on government programs for the rescue and rehabilitation of street children in Kirinyaga County and provide a status update on efforts to reintegrate these children with their families? And C, Mr. Speaker, what is the government doing to support street families to access formal education, obtain national identity cards, and secure job opportunities within and outside the country? I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable CS, you may respond.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, and thanks for this question from Senator James Murango. The increase in number of street families in major towns across Kirinyaga County and several other counties has been attributed to several factors. One of them is the influx of destitute children and families from neighboring countries, attracted by engagement by the business community, especially those in rice business. In other words, what I'm saying is that some of these people are not Kenyans who are in those areas. They come and they undertake menial jobs like pulling carts and carrying other market wares from one place to the other for some meager pay. Others are Kenyans that have been attracted to those areas, not necessarily just from the street. The second question, Mr. Speaker, sir, on programs for rescue and rehabilitation. Street Families Rehabilitation Trust Fund developed a national policy on rehabilitation of street families. The policy provides guidelines on implementation of programs which include prevention of more persons going to the streets, rescue, rehabilitation, reintegration, and resocialization. This will ensure that the programs are effectively implemented in all urban areas, including Kirinyaga County. The Trust Fund is establishing Street Families Rehabilitation County chapters, which are structures that coordinate rehabilitation of street families at the county and other lower levels. Kirinyaga County level is scheduled to be operationalized in the current financial year. In the third week, Mr. Speaker, of February 2025, the Trust implementing partners operating in Kirinyaga and Murang'a counties in conjunction with the Director of Children's Services in Mwea Sub-County rescued a total of 14 boys working on the streets of Ngurubaini who have now been placed in rehabilitation center in Murang'a for further assessment and relevant placement. The business community is normally involved in such rescue missions as a way of sensitizing them on the plight of street families. Upon rehabilitation, the beneficiaries are integrated back to society after provision of economic empowerment strategies to ensure they sustainably settle within their community. They also link to relevant services and integration. And I've listed there some of the things that we are doing for Kirinyaga County. The last question, Mr. Speaker, is what is the government doing to support street families to access formal education and obtain IDs and secure jobs outside the country? The government, through the Ministry of Labour and Social Protection, has developed the following strategies to assist and to ensure welfare of street families is taken care of. One is a rescue aspect, process of identifying, assessing, and helping persons out of street situations for eventual rehabilitation, reintegration, and resocialization for better living. Two is rehabilitation. This is where you able to restore their human dignity, privileges, so that they also understand, and through counseling, how they can actually fit back into society. Upon rescue, beneficiaries undergo an assessment to determine suitable placement within the education system so that kids can go back to school. The ones who are over 18 are also given their ID cards, and internship opportunities are provided on for those ones who have been able to be trained. Any person with a skill, because the idea is if you're a street child, you're over 18, and you've gone through training, skill development in a TVET, or we take you through rehabilitation, you are open to compete for any overseas job that is there. And we'll try as much as possible to ensure that street children get a livelihood by having a program whereby they are considered first in terms of overseas jobs. By linking rehabilitated beneficiaries to potential workers, we are trying to ensure that they also have a way of being able to continue. Lastly, Mr. Speaker, is to say that we, as the ministry, we continue to lobby Parliament, particularly through the Social Protection Committees, to allocate sufficient funds to enable the ministry to implement vital and effective programs aimed at securing the welfare of street children. And to finalize and say, Mr. Speaker, I've had meetings with my people, and we are reworking the rehabilitation and identification of street families. Some of the street families we are seeing in our country are foreigners from foreign nations that have come to Kenya because Kenya is an economic giant in the region, and so we are working on that so that we can be able to get them sent back home to their countries, and also get the ones that are here taken back to the countryside where they come from and also taken to school as part of the rehabilitation. I submit, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Yes, Honorable Newton.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I've listened to the response by the CS, but I may want a little more information, especially on question number 1. Because, Mr. Speaker, the CS has submitted that the increase in the number of street families in Kirinyaga County, and indeed in the whole country, is because of most of them are foreigners. Could the CS provide us the details? I mean, profile the locals against foreigners so that we can know how many street families are locals and how many are foreigners. And Mr. Speaker, because every foreigner that comes to this country, of course, is not supposed to be here illegally. What is the responsibility of the ministry on street families from foreigners? Because, of course, these foreigners are here legally. So what is the responsibility of the Ministry of Labor and Social Protection, especially under social protection? I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable CS.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Majority are Kenyans, some are foreigners. It's not majority are foreigners. Some are foreigners, and we are taking a census. We're just waiting for budgetary allocation so that we can have a breakdown not only of which are foreigners or Kenyans, but also where they come from in Kenya, and also identify what is the main cause, what made them come to the street. Because we want to find out, is it a family breakdown, is it poverty, is it they being used as child labor, especially the children, to come to the street. So we are undertaking that census, and we'll be able to provide a copy to this House with more details, because we are very concerned about also trafficking and child trafficking. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs, they are working with us also, the Ministry of Interior, to identify these foreigners that have come into our country, to find out how they came here, do they have documents, what are they doing in our streets, and how we can be able to send them back to their countries. I submit, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Kavindu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. My question is to Honorable CS is that what happens, or what measures do they put in place, especially for, like the answers he has given here, in case a CS is moved to a different ministry, to make sure that the same things are implemented by the next CS? Because I'm asking this because, like him, he has been moved from Foreign Affairs. There were questions about Foreign Affairs, especially us. They've not been done up to date. And also, when he was in the tourism, there are things to do with tourism and wildlife conflicts and fencing of... let me finish. Mr. Speaker, please, let me finish, because it will answer these questions here.
Senator Kavindu,
it will answer these questions here.
You're not supposed to answer to any question. You're supposed to ask.
Yes, I'm not answering.
Just have your seat. Take your seat. Senator Kavindu, take your seat. Now, the main question has been asked by Senator James Murango through Senator Joe Newton. Yes. Your supplementary question must flow from that particular question. Anything outside that main question will be deemed not to be a supplementary question and therefore disallowed. Proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question is about the questions that Murango has asked, and the CS has answered very well. But I'm asking, just in case they are not done while he's still in that ministry, what measures do they put in place to make sure that the next CS follows up and does it, just like the questions we had asked from the former ministries where he was, and they've not been done to date? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable CS.
Thank you very much, my Senator Kavindu. A government is perpetual. As the government of Kenya, we are still implementing policies that were carried out in the 1970s during the reign of Jomo Kenyatta. Some of the issues that I've discussed here, some of the things and there are policies that I'm talking about today, I found them in the ministry. And we are continuing because the technical teams are there and the ministry continues regardless of who the minister is. The minister can add volume, can bring better policies, but the incoming minister should be able to carry forward. And it's a very good question, and it's a good question to ask the ministers who are in the dockets that maybe I was, where they have reached in those government policies, because I'm carrying out the policies that I found in the ministry and adding new ones, and that's how the perpetuity of government is assured. Mr. Speaker.
Senator Mariam.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me the opportunity. Mr. Speaker, I have a question of the first one, not this one, so I can continue.
No, you may not continue. Just take your seat. Senator Chiranke, not N. Senator Murgo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm asking a question in regard to the attaches that they have sent to particularly Saudi Arabia. When we were
Senator Murgo, it's got nothing to do with the question by the Senator Morango. That relates to the first question, which is now closed. Senator Maruma is walked out. Senator Methu, not present. Senator Osotsi.
Mr. Speaker, mine is just a concern because the first part of the question, I am not satisfied with the answer given by the CS, and that's why I was trying to raise a point of order. So, Mr. Speaker,
Senator Osotsi, I think the CS undertook, just like he did in respect to the question by Senator Mazayo, to find out and come back to you.
Mr. Speaker, that has been a trend, even with the predecessor.
So let me assist you, Senator Osotsi. Honorable CS, within 7 days, we need to get a detailed response to the question by Senator Osotsi and the question by Senator Mazayo.
Very well, Mr. Speaker.
To be filed with the office of the clerk.
Very well, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Sigei, Senator Wambua Enoch.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I've had the CS talk about a national rehabilitation program for street children. I would want him to clarify how many children are in this program and where is that facility that is doing the rehabilitation. The Speaker, if you allow me, the Speaker, apart from being the Senator of Kitui, I'm also the principal assistant to the minority leader. And he has received information, just as we are seated here, about the question that he had asked about Maureen. And if the CS could listen to this, the Speaker, that lady is said to be in very, very critical condition. It may not actually wait for 7 days, the Speaker. The Speaker, I would request that you direct that the ministry moves with speed, actually even today, to contact Maureen in Saudi and find out what help can be extended to that lady, because we are actually running a risk. We have just received information from the minority leader that the lady is doing extremely badly. I thank the Speaker.
Senate, Honorable CS, as you respond to the first limb of that question, take note of the concern about the lady who is critically ill in Saudi Arabia. Proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The National Rehabilitation Program is one whereby we work with different agencies and whereby we monitor as a government to ensure that they are being rehabilitated. As a government, we are about to set up a center here in Mavoko and others with funds coming in so that we can be able to take our street children to some of those centers. We have a few that are set up that come and go, and I'll be able to align the system. I'm trying to fix the system and ensure that we eliminate street families so that we rehabilitate our children, and especially identify why are they on the street. Are they on the street because they don't have a home, or are they on the street because it's better to be on the street financially? and all that. Mr. Speaker, I take cognizance of the concern about our Kenyan who is ailing, Maureen, and I undertake that within 48 hours I'll provide this House with a letter detailing what we have found out and her status, and will ensure that she is assisted. The life of every Kenyan, the condition of every Kenyan, the livelihood, the health of any Kenyan, whether they're in Kenya or outside Kenya, and especially when they're outside Kenya, is critical. And it doesn't matter where they are or how they got there. It is our responsibility to help them. And I'm going to communicate with my colleague, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, to ensure that we move with speed to find what is happening and to be able to assist Maureen. I'll deal with both issues within 48 hours, Mr. Speaker, sir, with your indulgence. I submit.
Senator Miraj.
Asante Bwana Spika kwa kunipa fursa ya pili. Ningependa kumuuliza waziri kama ako na takwimu za wale watoto wanaorandaranda ambao wameongezeka na wamekuwa watu wazima kiasi cha kwamba na wao wamezaa watoto wengine ambao sasa wamekuwa watoto wa kurandaranda pale mjini Mombasa. Bwana Spika, imefikia kiwango cha kwamba familia hizi zimeingia katika makaburi mashuhuri yanayojulikana kama Mbaraki Cemetery, na wameweka makazi pale. Ningependa waziri atueleze ni mikakati gani inaweza kutambua watoto wanaorandaranda, ama ni kuna kipimo gani cha kiserikali ambacho kinapima jamii ambazo zinarandaranda, nikiazimia hao watoto na familia zao. Na suala hili la hawa watoto limeleta sintofahamu kubwa hadi kuongezeka kwa masuala ya utovu wa usalama katika maeneo yetu ya Mombasa. Je, kuna hatua gani ambazo zinachukuliwa kuwajua hawa kweli ni watoto wa kurandaranda na ni sababu gani wanaishi katika mji wa Mombasa? Kwa sababu kuna vidole vya lawama vimekuwa vikinyoroshwa kwa gavana pindi anapojaribu kuleta usawa katika hawa watoto. Je, kuna hatua gani zinazochukuliwa kuwatambua kwanza wapi ni watoto wa kurandaranda halali, na ni kwa nini wameongezeka kwa 80% katika mji wa gatuzi wa Mombasa? Asante Bwana Spika.
Honorable CS.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika. Asante sana Mheshimiwa Miraj. Hesabu ambayo tumesema tutaifanya ile census itaweza kutupa takwimu ya kutosha, tutaweza kufahamu ni wangapi ambao wanarandaranda katika maeneo yote ya Kenya, pia Mombasa. Ni ukweli ya kwamba wengine wamezaliwa hapo, wamezaa hapo, na hata wengine pengine watakuwa wana wajukuu hapo, wanaishi kwenye barabara, wanaishi sehemu tofauti. Kwa hivyo ni jambo ambalo linatatanisha sana, kwa sababu kuona watu wanaendelea kuongezeka. Ndio nimesema kwamba